What is happening, everyone? It's your boys, Nick and Sam, back with another episode of Fireside Yankees. Today we are diving into Nasty Nestor, the people's ace, Nesty the bestie, whatever you want to call him. The guy is an absolute stud, and he came to terms on a contract to avoid arbitration at $3.2 million. So Sam and I are very excited to dive into that today and talk about how it's a steal and what we can expect out of Nestor this season. But before we dive into things, Samwise, how are you doing today, my friend? How are you feeling?
I'm incredible, man. Like I mentioned before, I love the fact that you call me Samwise on every episode now because it's just such a joy, and like I'm just getting used to it. You know, I want to be honest with you. You used to like bug me a little bit, like because not from you specifically, but when I was younger, people would come there and be like, "Yeah, like that sucks. Like that's the worst nickname ever."
Come on,
now I love it. It's like my favorite thing ever. But hey, man, listen. Let me just like start off underpay. Like, come on now. We're talking about underpay. $3 million for a guy that was our ace last year. This guy was our ace last year. Legitimately. He was better than Garrett Cole was in 2022. Like, for real. And, like, the arbitration thing is weird because Michael King's making $1 million and, like, yada, 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 you know. So, and Gleyber Torres is still going to have to settle on a 10, and they're looking at a 9. So, like, that whole thing is weird. But listen, man, we're talking about the people's ace. We're talking about Nestor Cortes Jr. This is a player that surpassed everybody's expectations. He threw really well in 2021. I want to say he started about 9 or 10 games in 2021 during the back half of the stretch and was incredible for that team. He posted a 2.9 ERA. He comes out in 2022, is an all-star in 2022, 2.44 ERA, dicing it up with the leg kicks and that rising fastball. It's just so hot. This guy throws 92. He throws 92, and he just carves up guys for fun. And, you know, I'm just super excited about this guy because we're now looking at him as a 3. And this was a guy that was our ace last year. He was our best starter. Garrett Cole had a 3.50 ERA last year. He was not matching what Nestor did last year at all. And I love Garrett Cole and what he's able to do in a baseball field. But he was not matching Nestor last year. And, you know, Nestor's now our 3 with this super stacked rotation that we have with Cole and Rodon and with all these other guys. And for us to be able to fill out a guy like that as our 3 is absolutely unreal for what he did last season. And I think he's going to be great again this season. I think it's going to be really hard to replicate what he did in 2022, but I still think he's going to be one of the top pitchers in baseball this season.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, Nestor was the ace last year, and honestly, the unheralded ace. Like, Nestor still didn't get the respect he deserves last season, and I feel like this is the year that he's got to, officially establish himself as one of the top pitchers in baseball. Last year, like I posted last night when he agreed to his arbitration hearing on Twitter, that the Vlad Jr. quote, where this year was the trailer, next year is going to be the movie. That's what we're going to see out of Nestor Cortes. The dude is a stud. He does everything well in terms of just the way he pitches, the way he doesn't get phased. Even last postseason, he was injured, and he's still like, fuck it, we ball. I got to do this for the team. And granted, it hurt us a little bit because he got bit by one of those home runs. But nonetheless, Nestor Cortes is the absolute man. And like you said, $3.2 million for him is a steal. There are a couple of guys that agreed to terms that were really good deals. I mean, like you said, Michael King as well for like a milli 3 is absolutely insane. Jose Trevino is making like $2.5 million, and he's a Platinum Glove winner. He was the greatest catcher defensively in baseball by like a massive margin. So I got to give the Yankees credit for getting some of these deals done and coming in under for some of these deals as well. Higashioka also got a great deal. But Nestor, dude, for $3 million, we're getting one of the best lefties in baseball. And I don't think that's at all a reach to say that. I mean, he had an 8.5% home run to fly ball percentage last year, which halved his previous career high. So the dude is making improvements in every field that he needs to make improvements in. He's clearly figuring out what works for him. Like you said, he only sits at like 92, but it's a disgusting 92. Like, that cut fastball is absolutely brutal for hitters to hit. And he just dots the outside halves and the inner halves of the plate to where it's like with Trevino's framing, you get so many strike threes looking. And also, Nestor Cortes had an immaculate inning last season. Can't really say that about very many pitchers in baseball. So the people's ace is someone that I'm really excited to watch in 2023. Again, like you said, he had a 2.5 ERA, or a 2.4 ERA, and a 3.1 FIP. Both numbers fantastic. I believe both numbers led the rotation for the Yankees as well. Mm-hmm. And that was across 158 innings. And the team purposely chose to use Nestor less at the end so they could keep him fresh because the guy had never pitched more than 70, 80 innings in a season before. So they knew, hey, we had to play this smart. But this season, there's going to be none of that. Nestor will go out there and throw 170, 180 innings, And like you said, he will be the 3 or the 4 in the rotation. He would be a number 1 for like 90% of teams in baseball. I mean, granted, you have your elite rotations out there, and a lot of teams have their ace. But I'd be willing to bet that Nestor Cortes would immediately slot in as the 1 on like every single AL Central team for starters. I mean, other than maybe Tariq Skubal, who I'm a big fan of.
The Guardians.
He's not even going to start the season.
Guardians.
Yeah, yeah. And well, okay, yeah, I forgot about the Guardians too. Like
Yeah.
Shane Bieber, I'd
Yeah.
probably say is over Nestor Cortes. But either way, the fact that you put him in at the 2 or at the 1 for like 90% of teams in baseball shows how talented this rotation is, especially with the addition of Rodon. So let me ask you, do you think that Nestor is going to pitch 170, 180 innings like I kind of alluded to? Or do you think they're going to use him a bit sparingly?
It's I'm really glad that you brought up the innings thing, because we saw him get shut down towards the end of the season, and then obviously in Game 4 of the ALCS where he started, he ended up getting hurt. I think it was a groin issue that he had, so it was something that he was dealing with, throughout the season as well. I think that they're going to ramp up his workload, and like you mentioned, he was never a starter throughout the course of his career. He was more of a swing man. He would work 2-3 innings out of the bullpen, and then finally began starting in 2021 with the Yankees during the back half. And obviously that's not over a full season of work. He, like I said, I think he started like 9 games. So for that, I mean, that workload is obviously way less than the 160 that he ended up throwing last season. And then towards the back half of the year, they kind of shut him down. But now I think, and he'll be able to work as the 3 as well. So there's also more advantages to that. He won't be asked to do as much. And like we talked about with the bullpen as well, there's going to be a lot more reinforcements on that. So we can have a leniency to pull him in the 5th inning if we really have to, if we want to get him that rest. So I'm really glad that you brought that up. I got 2 things for you. Here on Mr. Nestor.
Enlighten me.
It got real spooky when he stopped becoming a meme. Like, when he stopped becoming a meme, it got real spooky. Because it reached a point, where it was like, oh, it's this funny, chubby guy who has a mustache, and he does leg kicks, and he's really cool when he pitches well. Oh, we don't care about that guy. He's not going to be good for long. No, he was fucking good. He was good, and he let everybody know. And that was my favorite part about his season, is that everybody just laughed at him. He's just some guy. He's not going to be everything that he projects to be throughout this entire season. It's a fluke. That's what everybody was calling him. Everybody was calling him a goddamn fluke. And what did he do? He dealt for the entire goddamn season, and I absolutely loved it. It got real spooky after that, Nick. It got real spooky, bro. I'm telling you. Spooky.
No, I love it, dude, and you're right. Like, again, remember going into the season last year, around this time last year, there are questions about, is Nestor going to be in the rotation?
He was the 5.
Is he going to be the 5? Is he going to be long relief? What are they going to do with Nestor Cortes? Because, of course, they had to properly, manage and use Severino because he was coming off injury and he only pitched like 20 innings the season prior. So they had to do something with him. And then Taillon was also injured with his ankle injury. So we were looking at it like, is Nestor going to just be able to get a spot in the rotation purely based out of need? And now it's like Nestor is the 3. And it's like, I don't know, just a kid from Hialeah, and now he's the absolute dog, the man. He got $3 million for his work. And if he does it again, the team's going to look to extend him on a 4 or 5, maybe 6-year deal. Mm-hmm. And I know he has a couple more years of control left, but why not take a page out of AA's book and extend him on a team-friendly contract while he's still got all this build-up? That's what the Braves have done so well. We talk about them in a lot of episodes because of the way, 1, that they manipulate those contracts. 2, because of the way that they use their youth and promote them. And 3, because of the way that they can build out their team to be competitive every year now. The Yankees are doing the same thing. And if they extend Nestor, that'll be one big piece off of the board that they don't have to worry about in 2 or 3 years from now. And I think Nestor would easily take a 5-6-year deal for $70 million, $80 million, and that would be still a phenomenal deal. He's one of the best lefties in baseball, as I mentioned. And again, every stat everything he does well. Last year, Nestor Cortes' barrel percentage given up was a career low at 5.3%. Prior to that, it was 7.4% the year before. And you look at the hard hit percentage, second lowest it's been since 2019 when he first initially played with the Yankees at 34.5% last season. Everything he did really, really well. He had a great ground ball to fly ball rate. Didn't give up a lot of line drives or hard hit contact. And also, the guy is one of those guys that when you see someone on base, you don't worry about it with Nestor Cortes on the bump. Because of the way he pitches and because of the way he attacks hitters. He's not like Sonny Gray was, where he was nibbling constantly, always trying to work too much, basically, and trying to get too fancy with his pitches, to where you'd see Sonny, Why is it a full count to this guy? Or why is it 3-0 to this guy? You know you can beat him. With Nestor, there is no playing around. He doesn't mess around. He doesn't play games. He goes out there, gets on the bump, does his leg kicks or whatever, has some fun, of course, because it is a game at the end of the day, and he just dominates, slices up lineups left and right. As mentioned at the beginning of the episode, he had an immaculate inning, and it was one of the most effortless, immaculate innings I've ever watched. Like, he is absolutely tremendous and phenomenal, and while I don't know if he's going to have a 2.44 ERA again, a low 3 ERA across 170 innings from a guy making $3.2 million is insane value. So a little coup de grace for the Yankees. Well done, you guys. You guys did a great job keeping Nestor around and giving he and his family a mini bag this season as well, which we love to see because Nestor is a huge part of the community, huge part of the clubhouse. And also, I know the dude's a Dolphins fan, but part of me likes to think that he's going to be rooting for the Giants this weekend. Like, he's got to be, right? There's no way he's rooting for the Vikings. I mean, come on.
Who else is? I mean, really, who the hell's rooting for the Vikings this weekend? I'm all aboard the Giants turn right on. I'm a Bills fan. I don't give a shit about the Vikings right now. We are all over. We are all over the Giants. Listen, man, like Giants Bills would be fun, but like Bills Eagles, the country could not handle that infrastructure. Could not handle that infrastructure. And listen, man, I like what you mentioned about him getting if we get a low 3 ERA from that guy, again, that's our 3. That is our 3.
Maybe
and
4 if Sevy's a god.
Exactly, man. And the only thing I just got one last thing for you today. The New York Yankees have the best rotational ball, and nobody could tell me differently. Nobody could tell me differently because the fact that you're able to toss out Garrett Cole, who is now the Yankees single-season strikeout leader after his 2022 season, who is an absolute stud and had a down year on a 3.5 ERA where he was terrible and he gave up a shit ton of home runs. But I'm going to take that from a guy like that. Carlos Rodon, who should have won, who probably should have been in the goddamn NL Cy Young race last year, was an absolute stud in San Francisco, and that is an ace on every other goddamn team outside of the New York Yankees. But because you have Garrett Cole, that's just how it's going to be. And we just talked about Nestor with the leg kicks. The 2.4 ERA last year, he's an absolute stud. Severino bounced back well last year, had a great year last year, got hurt a little bit, but he's still going to be a stud. And we traded for Frankie Montas midseason last year, and he wasn't great, but he was hurt. He's been a top 35 pitcher over the past 3 seasons, and he's going to be our goddamn 5. That's the best rotation of ball, Nick.
Yeah,
1,000%.
Most out of all the ARB guys.
Yeah.
$7.5 million, which again, for a player of his quality last season with the Yankees, everyone's like, why the hell did Montas get $7.5 million? But like you said, the last 3 seasons as a whole, as like a collective, he's been a top 35 pitcher in baseball. Remember at the deadline, everyone was saying he's basically the same as Luis Castillo. And granted, it didn't work out, but that was because of his injury. He also lost his mother, so it was very difficult. Maybe it was his mother-in-law. But like either way, Frankie Montas was not able to be Frankie Montas last season with the Yankees. And this year, he's our 5. We brought him in, like you mentioned, from Oakland to be the 2 behind Cole for the postseason. And now he's the 5? This rotation, I agree with you, is the best in baseball. If not the best, the deepest in baseball. Like, I do think the Astros still have a great rotation, as much as that tastes like vinegar coming out of my mouth. And I think the Braves are still going to be really, really good. And, of course, the Mets are going to be really, really good. But the Yankees, the reason it's so good is because you still have guys like Herman and Schmidt that are probably going to want to get starts that they're looking to move because of how good the rotation is. Domingo Herman sucks as a human being, but when he pitches, he pitched pretty decently last season. Didn't he have like a 3.5, 3.6 ERA with the Yankees?
He was solid.
And that was granted like on the back of an unreasonably and unsustainable high fly ball percentage because he doesn't get swings and misses really. But I believe that this rotation is going to deliver this season. And like you mentioned as well, the bullpen is going to help out a ton because we have 8 guys that can easily be handed the reins and get us through 4 innings, 3 innings if need be. And I think that out of these 5 guys in the rotation, I feel comfortable every single one of them going 6 innings. Like, it's not like, and I love Taillon, and I wish GMO the best in Chicago, but there were games last year where Jameson Taillon would be in the 2nd inning, and it's like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, how are you at 55 pitches already?
Yeah.
And he'd only go 4 or 5 innings. I don't think any guy in the rotation is a 4 or 5 inning starter that you need to rely on long relievers to come in for and supplement those innings. These guys, it sounds crazy, and this may be crazy of me to say, and this is kind of what we'll like end the episode on. I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you think that all 5 Yankees starting pitchers are going to throw over 150 innings next year?
No. Severino.
Ooh,
Severino. Yeah. I really wish I could, because I really wish that Severino would throw 150 next year. But I just, I feel like it's going to reach a point where they limit him just because of his injury concerns and that kind of stuff. So I think he'll probably tap like 130, 140. I don't think he's going to end up getting over that mark, which stinks. But I think the rest of them will. I
mean,
So-
if all 5 guys do somehow get over that 150 inning benchmark, because I feel like that's what a lot of teams and a lot of fans like to set as, okay,
Right.
if you can get to 150, you're what we call a reliable starting pitcher and a guy that's consistent. So if Sevy even gets to 140, that's not that big of a difference to me. And
No,
that'll
no.
probably be 140 with like a low 3, mid 3 ERA
That's
and
like
like
2
a
less
10
starts.
K over 9. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like 2 less starts. And that's the other thing. Nestor, despite throwing 92, still had like a 9.3 K over 9 last year.
Yeah.
And he had the lowest walk rate of his career.
Mm-hmm.
The dude just doesn't fuck around and find out. Instead, he gets out there, does his job, and is like, all right, time to go back to the dugout and hang out with the boys. And that's the other thing. Watching Nestor in the dugout, like eating
So
the
fun.
apple, hanging out with the bubble gum and running on the field with the bubble gum. And he and Garrett Cole's relationship is absolutely hilarious to watch grow and evolve. Like, remember last year where Garrett Cole like was doing like the high fives and was just like standing there and no one
Yeah.
high-fived him, and he like high fived himself. Like Garrett Cole is one of the most like unintentional, funny human
The
beings. on
banana.
And yeah, and the banana too, and like the what is it like the it's like I'm gonna say it from the league, like the spunk stuff that he has, like the G.
Oh, yeah.
Devouring
Yeah.
in there. Like you're looking like a little gerbil over there. He's like, "Ah."
He's hilarious, dude.
This is what I love about this team. There's so much personality, so much charisma. We talked about Tommy Kahnle, and you believe that Kahnle and Bader are gonna have that hilarious relationship where they just bounce the
BFFs,
banter
dude.
off of each other. And
Yeah.
Nestor could be right there too. Wandy, like this team, I cannot wait for the season to start. We have less than a month now until pitchers and catchers report for those that are in the WBC, February 13th again. So I don't know, dude. I'm getting so excited for baseball. It's like that meme where you lay down in bed and like, you have your outfit next to you. That's how I am every night now, just waiting for opening day. Got my
Before
Ron
the
Don
first day of
jersey
school.
laid out in jeans. We're ready to go. But yeah, first day of school, we got to rep the
Yeah.
entire fit, make a statement opening day. But I don't know, Sam. I can't wait for this season, and I'm sure you feel the same way. Any closing thoughts you'd like to say on Nestor Cortes before we wrap this one up?
I will say, I'm not sure if you're aware of this. My big thing during the season was the mustache. And obviously, my one mustache brother has, left me, and it's really unfortunate. So I'm going to have to ride with Nestor this year, because I don't think anybody else is going to get a mustache on that team.
Could. I think Rodon's
I
gonna
think
he's gonna rock one.
I think Rodon could, but I don't think he would look right with one. I'm gonna be honest with you, but yeah, I'm gonna have to ride with Nestor. That is my mustache brother for this year, because my similar in height mustache brother left me to go to San Diego to go hit nukes. So I'm really happy for him. But yeah, Nestor's gonna be my guy this year.
Amen to that, Sam. Amen to that, my dude. Nestor is the man. Nesty, the bestie, the people's ace. Whatever you want to call him, the dude just does the damn job. So I cannot wait to see what's in store for him this year. Like I said, last year was the trailer. This year is going to be the movie. As
Vladdy!
said. I mean, this is my house. Where'd you get eliminated, Vlad? Where'd you get knocked out from contention in? My house. But no, I'm so excited for 2023, and I know all the Yankees fans feel the same. Drop a comment in the comments below. Leave a like. Make sure to subscribe. Let us know how you think Nestor Cortes will do this year. Are we crazy to think he's going to pass that 160, 170 innings mark? I don't think we are. In fact, 175 innings for Nestor with a 3.1 ERA. I'm penciling it in. That is my prediction. Way too early, sure, but that's my prediction for Nesty this season. Again, Samwise, Nick, with Fireside Yankees. Much love, everyone. Peace. Later. Adios.